Everyone has got something or multiple things that they're trying to achieve. Everyone's got a goal or multiple goals. Everyone's trying to improve in an aspect of their life or multiple aspects of their life. And if you're the kind of person that thinks that you're not striving for anything, that you don't have any goals, that you're not trying to improve anything in your life, then that probably means you either think that change isn't possible, or you think that you're somehow above improving yourself. And both of those thoughts are absolute nonsense, because improvement is both possible and limitless. Even if you think that you're succeeding in whatever you're trying to succeed in, right? You should still continually be trying to improve, trying to step up to the next thing. So improvement in your life, whatever type that you're trying to strive for, should be never ending. There's no destination. It's a lifelong journey, and you just keep trying to improve in multiple areas of your life until you die. If you feel like a failure, that's a good thing, right? I regularly feel like a failure. I regularly feel like I'm failing to do all the multiple things that I'm trying to do in terms of improving my life, improving myself as a person. But being a failure is a good thing, because if you're the kind of person that's not even trying, then you're not a failure. You can't call yourself a failure or think of yourself as a failure if you're not even trying. If you're just living your life and being happy where you're at and not even trying to improve yourself, you don't deserve to call yourself a failure. Being a failure is a good thing. If you're not trying, then you're not a failure. You're beneath, being a failure, because if you're a failure, that means that you're trying and then failing, or you're trying and you're succeeding in some areas, and then every now and again you fall short. And if you don't notice where you're falling short, then you've got nothing to work on to continually find successes in your life. So yeah, I fail regularly, and at the time, your mind will try and make you feel bad about it, because the word failure is kind of got like a negative baggage attached to it, and it shouldn't have, because being a failure is a good thing, because being a failure means that you're trying. Being a failure means that you are succeeding, or you are trying to reach your goals or trying to improve yourself, but you're acknowledging where you do fall short, and then they're the things that you'll focus on to try and not fail next time, to move up to the next level in whatever you're doing. But then you'll be striving to get to the next step again, and maybe you'll fail to get there a couple of times, but eventually you'll get there. Ultimately, if you never fail, then you never succeed, right? One way that I try and look at this, okay, I'm a recovering drug addict, a recovering alcoholic, you could say, just an addict in general, really. And a lot of people talk about, especially alcoholism, as you're on the wagon. If you're trying to refrain from drinking alcohol, you're on the wagon. And then when people sort of fail and end up picking up a drink, they call that falling off the wagon, right? And the way I kind of look at it is, I'm trying to stay on many wagons in my life, right? Trying to live a clean life away from drink and away from drugs, but also trying to turn myself into the strongest person that I can, physically, mentally, spiritually, trying to be as fit as I can, going to the gym multiple times a week, going to boxing multiple times a week, watching what I'm eating, trying to eat as clean as I can, just being a good person, trying to be positive, trying to be a positive sort of influence in the world, if you will, or just being a positive person in the world, focusing on trying to surround myself with positive people and trying to absorb positive ideas, and quite frankly, trying to stay away from negative people and trying to stay away from negative ideas. So there's multiple wagons that I'm trying to stay on, and every now and again I will fall off of some of these wagons, right? Thankfully now, I should say the exact number of days, thankfully for 585 days, I haven't fallen off my main wagon, if you will. I have been able to stay away from drink and drugs for 585 days so far, which is great. But as I say, there's loads of other wagons that I'm trying to stay on, and every now and again I will fall off. Like, I'll give you an example. Over the last 2 weeks, there's probably been 5 days, I think, where I haven't gone for my walk around the block. There's been a couple of days where I haven't done any of my morning routine. You know, I've been really failing to get up early, right? You know, I have been really kind of focusing on making videos and stuff for my other YouTube channel. So, you know, a lot of the time when you're sort of managing to stay on a certain number of wagons, you end up falling off a couple of the others, right? But ultimately, yeah, I'm trying to spin many plates or trying to stay on many wagons, and every now and again, you know, I do slip in some areas. Yeah, there's been a good few times over the last couple of years that I have been taking my life seriously where I haven't achieved my quota of 3 gym sessions a week. You know, there's been quite a lot of times where I haven't been to 2 boxing sessions a week. I think last week I only done 1. I think the week before that I might have only done 1. So, you know, yeah, you get the idea, right? With certain things in my life, you know, every now and again I am falling off the wagon, or I'm not, you know, doing things in an ideal manner. You know, sometimes it is because I'm focusing on some of the other things, and, you know, I do live a busy life and I am trying to spin many plates. I am trying to stay on many wagons, but that's a good thing. You know, the more occupied I am, the more I'm improving in general, so that when you do sort of let the ball slip on a couple of things, you know, the other things are really strengthening themselves, and then, you know, you'll pick these other things back up again. But ultimately what I'm trying to say is, if you're the kind of person that, you know, there's things that you dream of doing, like in terms of improvement, right? You know, there's things that you're putting off until the time is right? You know, you're waiting to get on that wagon. You know, you're not ready quite yet, you know, and, you know, but you will one day start eating clean. You will one day start losing weight. You will one day give up smoking. You will one day stop taking drugs. You know, for me, for years, I sort of thought of the idea of going to do a bit of boxing training. You know, every time I was having like a little bit of a clean spell, you know, oh yeah, one day, you know, once I get a good few months under my belt of not taking drugs, maybe I'll go and do boxing. And then obviously, lo and behold, all those other attempts, I'd end up taking drugs again. So then obviously things like the boxing, things like going to the gym, all these things that I sort of deep down wanted to do just never ended up happening, right? And that's why it's important that if there is anything out there that you want to do at some point in the future and your mind's telling you that now's not the right time, then get on that wagon now. Like, if there's something that you want to do in terms of improving yourself, but you're not doing it now, then you're not a failure. You're not even trying. You know, you want to get to the stage where you're on that wagon, and then, you know, then you can start reaping the rewards of being on that wagon, you know, on that path of self-improvement, because time flies, and these things that you say you're going to get round to one day, you never will. Trust me, you never will. Years and years will pass. Your mind or your life, you know, your busy life will always find an excuse for you not to start doing that thing that deep down you want to do to improve your life. So if there is something that you have always wanted to do to improve your life, there is something that you're putting off until the time's right, do it now. Right, don't be a loser, do it now. But then on the other hand, if like me, you have started making moves to improve your life, but you find that you are failing, you know, you find that you are falling off that wagon, get back on that wagon. You know, don't allow your mind to tell you that it's not worth getting back on that wagon. You know, if you've, you know, for example, if you're trying to lose weight, right? You know, maybe you're really overweight and you've got a couple of weeks under your belt of eating clean, and then, you know, you ended up basically undoing all your hard work because you ended up having a binge or whatever, right? Your mind will be telling you, well, there's no point. You've tried, you know, but there's no point. Well, that's nonsense. It doesn't matter if you failed once. It doesn't matter if you failed a million times. Get back on that wagon, because failing and getting back on the wagon, failing and getting back on the wagon, failing and getting back on the wagon means, yeah, you're a failure, but a failure is a good thing, because being a failure is a very important part of being on the way to being a winner. If you're the kind of person that allows yourself to talk yourself out of getting back onto that wagon, then you're a loser. You know, being a failure isn't being a loser. You know, if you're the kind of person that doesn't try enough to be a failure, then you're a loser. Yeah, being a failure is on the way to being a winner. So yeah, in short, I would say, you know, if you're not getting on that wagon yet, that you know deep down you want to, do it now. Right now. And if you're further along than that, and you have been on this wagon or wagons, and you found that you fell off and you feel like a failure, get back on. Because believe me, when you're on your deathbed, you're not going to be regretting the times that you failed. You're going to be regretting the times that you didn't try. You know, when I get to my deathbed, if, you know, I really hope that I continue this clean life that I'm living. I really hope that I never fall off the wagon and take drugs or drink alcohol again. But if I do, and then I get back on the wagon, or, you know, whether I do or don't, you know, as long as I stay on the wagon or keep trying to get back on the wagon, I'm not going to be regretting the times that I failed. I'm going to be regretting the 20 years that I wasted being an utter loser before I got on the wagon properly and took it seriously. You know, I'm not going to, you know, regret all the times where I got in the boxing ring against people that are way more fit than me and way more skilled than me and got humbled. I'm not going to regret those times. I'm going to regret the years and years and years where I wanted to start doing boxing but didn't. You know, I'm not going to regret the odd week here or there that I only end up going to the gym twice instead of 3 times. I'm going to regret the 20 years where deep down I thought it'd be a good idea to go to the gym and improve myself but didn't. It's the same with, you know, maybe your goal is to be a bit more social. I am extremely socially awkward, and I only really sort of get about in the world, although there's a lot of anxiety still attached to that sort of thing. I sort of only managed to get about in the world just because over the years I've worked on myself. Now, for example, if you're trying to be more social, maybe you're trying to attract the opposite sex, you know, you're not going to be on your deathbed regretting all the times that you went up to a girl and tried to talk to her and then came away feeling like an idiot. You're going to regret the times where you stood at the opposite end of the room, like sort of thinking about going to chat to that girl and then bottling it and not bothering. So, you know, again, in short, when you're on your deathbed, you're not going to regret the times that you failed. You're going to regret the times that you didn't even try. Being a failure is part of the path towards being a winner. But if you're not failing because you're not even trying, then you're destined to be an utter loser forever. And yeah, anyone that doesn't try to improve themselves, then you don't deserve to improve yourself. Anyway, I know it's been ages since the last video. This is just something that came up in my head today, and I wanted to post this video today. Massive thanks to everyone who has been watching. Big shout out to everyone out there that is trying to improve their lives in any way. Let us know in the comments, what are you doing on a daily basis? What are you failing at? You know, what are you striving to do, but every now and again you fall off the wagon off. But make sure you get back on. You know, what are you guys failing at? You know, on your path to being a winner. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Massive thanks for watching.